Hi, Rice Owls. Welcome to the first installment of Wellness Wednesdays. I'm Melissa Jeng, Lovett College, class of 2012. Since graduating from Rice, I've been a consultant for large consulting firms, and on the side, I'm a yoga and mindfulness teacher. I teach group classes here in New York City, teach one-on-one sessions with private clients, and also corporate mindfulness classes with other companies. I'm really excited to be here today to share with you some tips on mindfulness. We'll talk about some challenges you may be facing these days, some tips for these long days at home, what mindfulness is and how it can help, and then we'll end with a breath exercise and meditation. But before we start, I'd like to take 3 deep breaths together so that we can reset and ground ourselves in the present moment. So come forward in your seat. Scooting forward on your seat and take your arms down by your sides. We'll inhale as we reach our arms out and up to the ceiling, and then we'll exhale out together. So inhale, reach the arms out and up, reach up to the sky. And exhale, out and down. Ha. Inhale, reach out and up. And exhale, out and down. Ha. Last time, inhale, reach out and up. And exhale. Very nice. Come back to your seat now. Thank you for sharing that with me. You might be finding yourself in an interesting world these days. For those of you watching this video in the future, for context, it's May 2020. The COVID-19 virus has spread to become a global pandemic. Millions across the world are sheltering in place in order to slow the spread of the virus. So you may be spending a lot more time at home than usual. And as many of us shift to doing all our work from home, all of our interactions with people have also shifted to online platforms. So maybe you're going from a Skype status call in the morning to a lunch date with a friend over FaceTime, to a Microsoft Teams meeting in the afternoon, to another WebEx, and then to a happy hour via Zoom. All of which you can do in your pajamas, sitting in the same chair all day. Now, if that sounds familiar, you're probably feeling that in your body, like I am. And maybe you're starting to rethink your desk and chair setup. I know I personally have invested in a few computer accessories since the beginning of the shelter in place. So I'd like to share with you some tips that I have on chair posture, ergonomics of your desk setup. Starting with the feet. My feet are flat on the ground. My chair is lifted to a height where my feet can rest gently on the floor. I'm sitting all the way back in the chair so that my thighs are fully supported by the chair. And now while I'm gently resting my back against the back of the chair, I'm also lifting up tall through the crown of my head. So my spine is really lifting tall here. I'm sitting up tall. And I'm avoiding slouching too much in my chair or leaning too far forward in my chair. But just sitting all the way back, sitting up nice and tall here is really good for the spine. My arms are down by my sides and my elbows are set by my sides. So when we think about placement of our keyboard, the most optimal place for the keyboard to be is at elbow height. So what that means is that if I'm sitting down, and my elbows, I'll stand up a little bit so you can see, I'm standing up. My elbows are by my sides here at a 90-degree angle. And then my keyboard would be right here in front of me. So not too far forward, not too far back, but right where my elbows can be at the sides of my body. And I'm also making sure that my wrists are straight as I'm typing. So notice if when you're typing, you tend to kind of bend your wrists out to type, or maybe they bend in to type. Keeping the wrist straight is really beneficial for the wrist because you don't have quite so much mobility in the wrist. And another thing, when it comes to computer accessories, is a mouse. If you have a Bluetooth mouse, like or a wired mouse, really, just any mouse at all for your computer setup, it's good to I'll grab this mouse right here next to me. It's good to, instead of wiggle the mouse at the wrist, but instead move the mouse by moving your whole arm. So the motion is originating from your shoulder. There's a lot more range of motion in the shoulder, and it's a lot stronger than your wrist. So that's another suggestion there. So if you're like me, I've got a laptop for the work that I do, and it's great, obviously, for the mobility, but it's not so great when it comes to having the best placement for my keyboard versus my monitor or my screen. So what I suggest is, if this is something you'd like to do, is investing in accessories. Like I mentioned, a mouse is really great. A keyboard, a Bluetooth keyboard, has been such a lifesaver for me because I'm able to bring the keyboard a little bit lower than where my desk sits. And I've also recently invested in an external monitor. So that monitor is really good because then I can adjust that monitor to be at the height of my eyes. So when I'm sitting up nice and tall in my chair and I'm looking straight ahead, I should be looking straight into my monitor. And so that helps for a lot of different reasons. The placement of all of these accessories will really dictate the way that your body is shaped. So if you think about having your laptop, say, on your lap, and you're having to draw your head down to look at it, it's so easy for me to slouch this way. I naturally want to round my back to look down if my keyboard or my laptop were down on my lap. But having the monitor right in front of me really encourages me to sit up tall. It encourages me to sit up in a way that is beneficial for my body. So those are some tips about chair position. Those are some tips about accessories. And in terms of chairs, I kind of described a more traditional office chair, but it really depends on preference here. I've tried kneeling chairs, exercise ball chairs, or even no chairs, so a standing desk. And all of these are options worth exploring. I would just keep in mind the suggestions that I had on the placement of your screen and other accessories. So now all of this is great, but no matter, even if you had the most perfect posture, your body may still tire of spending so much time in that one position. That's why all of these suggestions that I gave are suggestions. And what I really want people to do is get up and move at least once every half hour. So important these days when we don't have to get up for our meetings anymore. We could bring all of our food to us and never have to leave our desks. So it's really important that we make sure that we are getting up and moving as often as possible. I know that I've significantly cut down on my steps count because I don't have to commute. I don't have to walk to the subway or walk to meetings. And so my body's certainly feeling that. So I try to remind myself maybe every 20 minutes or so to just get up, stand up, move in whatever way feels good for me. So what about mindfulness? Isn't that what we're here for? So let me start by defining mindfulness. Mindfulness is the quality or state of being conscious or aware of something. And why is this important? Because we're going through such an unprecedented time. You may be experiencing feelings or emotions that you've never experienced before. During a time like this, stress and anxiety can be overwhelming, and maybe you don't even realize what is bothering you. And mindfulness can help. It can help you to understand yourself and help you to empathize with others. we as humanity are facing so many challenges. Some things that I know I'm personally facing, a general unease of having to learn a new way of working and of living, being fearful of the health of loved ones, so many thoughts of uncertainty of the future, a lack of social interaction, and even on the most physical level, just having a lot of pain in my eyes from staring at screens all day. And while some of those may resonate with you, and maybe you have your own challenges that you're dealing with, maybe having to homeschool kids that usually are at school at this time, or maybe your career has been impacted by the change. It's important to understand that everyone is going through their own unique challenges. So it's extra important that we all be mindful and realize that everyone is going through something. And most importantly, you are not alone. So when I've been practicing mindfulness during this time, I like to think about it in two different ways. So I'll give you some tips bucketed in these two different ways about how to practice mindfulness. So the first way is taking a more introspective approach. So that could look like taking a pause in the middle of your day to just check in with yourself. I love doing a quick 15-minute meditation around lunchtime just to break up the monotony of all-day meetings, or the monotony of not moving or changing my position. Those are all really great just to break up the day. Another idea is to write in a gratitude journal. I take about 5 minutes every evening to write down things that I'm grateful for. It really helps to put in perspective what we're going through and what are some of the great things that are still happening in life. Another idea is turning your negative thoughts into positive ones. It's so easy to fall into negative thought patterns and complain about everything that's going on, but how can you take those negative thoughts and turn them into positive ones? Kind of goes along with the gratitude journal. Taking time to breathe and stay present, so important when you're maybe in a meeting and something stressful comes up, and it's hard to air that out over a video conference. It's so much easier to talk through some of that when you're in person with colleagues. The other way that I like to practice mindfulness is through external environments. So kind of creating external environments and guidelines for yourself. And an idea around that is to recreate your normal routine. You might have seen or might have heard of that and seen some funny memes about that, about people recreating their subway commute or whatnot. It's really good just to remind yourself of the familiarity of that normal routine. And then on the flip side, creating a new routine that you're excited about can be so helpful. It can give you something to look forward to. Now that we don't have to spend time in a commute, for example, or we don't have to spend time packing lunches, all of that is a great way to look at that as more time to develop a new routine to be excited about. Other ways that I like to create external environments for success for myself these days is to make sure that I have a clean office space. So when you work at a desk maybe once a week or once every month, it's okay to have a little bit of a cluttery desk. It maybe doesn't bother you, but when you're spending so much time in that space, having a clean space can be really beautiful for your life and just be able to make space for creativity. So hopefully those tips resonated with you. Now I'd like to move into a breath exercise and meditation. So we'll actually be doing this together. I'll first explain a little bit about what we'll be doing, and I'll explain a little bit about the meditation we'll be doing. So oftentimes people interchange meditation and mindfulness. And so the way that I like to describe the difference between that is using an analogy around fitness. So this analogy goes, working out is to fitness as meditation is to mindfulness. So you may work out in order to increase your fitness, and you would meditate in order to increase your mindfulness. So working out to increase your fitness, or making fit choices to increase your fitness. In the same way, you can meditate or make mindful choices to increase your mindfulness. And when it comes to meditation, a common misconception is that meditation is you sitting quietly, maybe on a fancy meditation cushion, you've got some nice background music going on, and as you're sitting there with your eyes closed, got no thoughts going on. Your mind is completely empty, and you've somehow been able to get rid of all those thoughts. And that's completely not what meditation is. Meditation is just about sitting with those thoughts, acknowledging that those thoughts are simply thoughts, and recognizing that you don't have to attach meaning, or you don't have to attach feelings to those thoughts. So we'll be doing a breath awareness meditation today, and I'm going to share my screen really quick to depict what that is going to look like and some things that you might be experiencing. So we'll start at the top. Place attention on breath. So when we start, we'll start with our eyes closed, and I'll ask you to place your attention on your breath. So it'll be a natural breath that's moving in and out of your body, and you'll gently just place your attention on that breath. And that's mindfulness. That's being mindful, that's being aware of something. And as you're doing this, as you have your attention on your breath, you're being super mindful, you may notice that a distraction might arise. Maybe a thought pops into your mind, and this distraction takes your attention away from the breath. This is when your mind begins to wander. And once you notice that your attention has moved on to that distraction, so it's moved away from the breath to this distraction, that noticing is awareness. You're becoming aware of how your mind is moving. And then you can, with that awareness, you can return your attention. You can return your attention back to that breath using an intention to bring it back, right? So this cycle will go on over and over again as you meditate. You'll think about the breath, the mind will wander, then you'll notice that your mind is wandering, and you'll bring that attention back to the breath. So that practice of bringing your attention back to the breath is really what's so powerful here. It trains ourselves to not get so caught up in different thoughts, different worries that might be happening in our minds, and instead bring your attention back to something that's present. Bring your attention back to the activity that you're focused on at that time. All right, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and we'll do that exercise together. So come to sit comfortably in your chair. So all the things that I was talking about before, feet flat on the ground, sitting up nice and tall. Allow your hands to rest on your thighs. I'll invite you here to close your eyes. If that's not comfortable to you, you can just lower your eyelids and stare down the tip of your nose. So go ahead and do that now, whatever you choose. We're going to do an even part breath today. So that means that our inhale will be the same length as our exhales. And to do that, we will count our breath. So I'll cue you to count your inhale on a count of 3. We'll pause at the top of the breath, and then I'll cue you to exhale for 3 and pause at the bottom of that breath. So everyone, exhale your breath fully. Inhale together. 1, 2, 3. Pause at the top. And exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause at the bottom. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Pause. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. 1, 2, 3. Exhale. 1, 2, 3. Inhale. 1, and then count silently to yourself. Counting to 3 on both the inhale and the exhale for an even breath. You can move as slowly or as quickly as you'd like. Maintaining that count as you breathe. Slow, steady breath in and out. Take another full breath where you are. Full inhale and a full exhale. And then you can gently release the count of your breath. Continue to sit here with your eyes closed. Bring your attention to that breath. So you're breathing normally now. Breathing at whatever speed is normal. And you're simply bringing your attention to your breath. Follow your breath as it moves in and out of your nose. Follow your breath as your chest lifts and falls. Follow your breath as the belly moves with each breath. And as you sit here and follow your breath, you may notice some thoughts that pop into your mind. If you notice those thoughts, just gently congratulate yourself on noticing those thoughts, noticing that distraction, and bring your attention back to your breath. As you receive any of these thoughts, avoid attaching any feelings or emotions to those thoughts. Simply let the thoughts exist as they are, just thoughts. And you may notice your mind wandering over and over again. Be patient and be kind with yourself. Knowing that the learning is the awareness of those distractions and bringing your attention back to the present moment. Now take your awareness to the space that you're in. Start to notice any sounds in the room that you're in. Notice any smells. Notice the temperature. Beginning to bring your awareness back to the space. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Bring some movement to your arms and to your legs. And then when you're ready, gently crack open your eyes, coming back into the Zoom meeting. Great. Thank you all so much for walking through that meditation with me. I'm going to leave you with a few questions to ground yourself, to help you be more mindful. Some of these questions I've already brought up throughout this session today, but I'll leave you with them so you can ponder them, or maybe you journal about them this evening, or maybe you share these with a friend. Number 1, what ways are you finding mindfulness throughout your day? Number 2, what new routines are you creating, or old routines that you're recreating in your life? Number 3, how can you be empathetic to others and what they are going through in a time like this? Number 4, what are you grateful for during this time? And number 5, what are some positive activities or habits that you'd like to take into your life once we start to resume our normal routines? Thank you all for experiencing this with me. I hope you learned something or you enjoyed this. Since it's a recording, feel free to use this as a break throughout your day. You can skip to the breath work and meditation if you'd like, or watch the whole thing over again. But thank you all again. I wish you all so much health this year. Go Owls.